Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank our residents who are in attendance and watching from home, as well as our friends, family members, distinguished guests, and of course, my fellow council members. Thank you to our city manager, our city attorney, and our entire city team. I'm honored to be here tonight with you to present the state of our city. And while our city charter designates that I, as your mayor, present the state of the city once a year, I'd like you all to know that everything I'm going to talk about this evening, every plan, every goal, and every challenge takes a team effort to accomplish. Together, your city council and I are continuously planning for the future and are united in achieving a shared vision for Port St. Lucie through our city's strategic plan. The strategic plan is our action-oriented roadmap of 7 goals, which guides and implements our vision. And when I say our vision, I'm not just talking about the council. It's the collective vision of our entire community, our residents, businesses, and organizations alike, because we are all stakeholders in our city. Not only is it our vision, but it's also our promise to you of what will be accomplished. And in Port St. Lucie, we make it a point to keep our promises. That is why our council puts so much effort and emphasis on public engagement and community involvement when making decisions on how to shape Port St. Lucie. As you may already be aware, every year the city hosts a Citizen Summit, and we also send out a community survey. The input and feedback we receive provides us with valuable insights and also gives us a barometer on whether we're headed in the right direction. This collaboration in shaping our future continues to make our community stronger year after year. And to provide you with some data on how we're doing, I'm pleased to report that nearly 80% of residents who participated from 2018 to 2022 rated Port St. Lucie as an excellent or good place to live. And in addition, residents' evaluations for our overall quality of life, our neighborhoods, the city as a place to raise children, live, and retire, along with its overall appearance and image, have each improved considerably since our first survey was conducted in 2009. And those are points that we should all be proud of, but they should also motivate us to aim higher and not be afraid to look at where we need to be and where we want to be over the next 10 to 20 years. Right now, we are at a unique point in our history. At 121 square miles, we are the 3rd largest city in Florida in landmass. We are the 7th largest in terms of population, and we are quickly closing in on the number 6 spot. In 1970, our population was 300. Today, our population stands at 225,000 residents and rising. In fact, approximately 20,000 new residents moved here in the last 2 years alone. And to provide a comparison, the entire city of Stuart is about 16,000 residents. So in the last 2 years, we have gained 4,000 more residents than the entire population of our neighbor to the south. And as you can see, we are a very different city than we were just a decade ago. In the 12 years that I've been serving on the city council, there have been many changes, from the completion of the Becker Road I-95 interchange to the acquisition of McCarty Ranch for our future water and sewer needs, the construction of 3 new parks, and now to present day as our jobs corridor continues to facilitate sustainable jobs for our residents. The momentum we have is something we want to build upon as we continue to be the melting pot for people who are choosing Port St. Lucie as their home from all over the nation. Here's just one interesting but little known fact about our community that sets Port St. Lucie apart from other cities. The University of California at Berkeley this year completed an in-depth study on residential segregation in the United States. The study found that out of every metropolitan region in the US with more than 200,000 residents, 81% were more segregated as of 2019 than they were in 1990. Only 2 cities in the entire country are considered fully integrated, and Port St. Lucie is one of those 2 cities. The other, if you're curious, is Colorado Springs. And this is just one ingredient of many that makes Port St. Lucie such a special and unique place to live. It's something that I'm very proud of, and I hope you are too. By consistently following our strategic plan, the city of Port St. Lucie has experienced some great success stories. I'll elaborate on some more of those shortly, but I want to quickly share a few great accomplishments we should all be proud of. This past year, We've completed the first phase of Floresta Drive Improvement Project and started construction on phase 2. We continue to make major strides in the sale and development of land in Southern Grove Jobs Corridor, which includes facilities from Amazon, Cheney Brothers, FedEx, Excel International, and Oculus Surgical. We prepared and adopted a 20-year stormwater management plan, which envisions $200 million in stormwater and water quality investments in our community. We completed and adopted our mobility plan that will help us address traffic congestion and infrastructure improvements. And we officially purchased the 22 city center parcels and began the master plan to revitalize our east side. We secured $35 million in grants through collaboratively working throughout the city via our grants and advocacy team. And we broke ground for our waterfront port district in Pioneer Park, an incredible public space that will connect our residents and our visitors to the St. Lucie River, and finally put the port in Port St. Lucie. But with much success comes challenges, and I would be remiss if I did not address what I believe is one of the greatest municipal challenges our city has faced in many, many years: solid waste collection. Looking back, I don't believe anyone could have ever predicted the struggles that we would have in dealing with our former solid waste service. It affected all of our lives on a daily basis, and it threatened our sustainability of being a safe, clean, and beautiful city. However, as difficult as it was for everyone, we faced this challenge head on, and together we overcame it. Finding a new waste hauler and implementing new service for a city of our size in 6 months' time was an enormous undertaking. In fact, some people told us that it couldn't be done, but we knew it had to be done, and we did it. And this was all due to the resilience of our residents and the perseverance of our city staff, led by our city manager, Russ Blackburn. I personally know that a lot of blood, sweat, and tears were shed during this process, as well as many sleepless nights and time taken away from family to get a resolution to this very important matter. I know that I speak for myself and the council when I say that we are extremely proud of our city team, and it included employees from several departments whose grit, hard work, and determination brought us to where we are now. Despite some setbacks from Hurricane Ian and a few yard waste and bulk collection issues, we are off to a refreshing start with FCC, and our city is once again clean and beautiful. Earlier, I mentioned our growth. In the past decade, our population has grown by about 25%, and it's evident everywhere you look. U-Haul has ranked us number 3 in the top 24 growth cities in the United States, and U.S. News & World Report has ranked us the 7th fastest growing in the country. Florida has become the number 1 state in the nation that people are moving to, and as a result, our population will continue to climb as more people discover the many great things that Port St. Lucie has to offer. We have seen this unprecedented growth within the past few years, and believe it or not, we still have about 50,000 additional residential units that have already been entitled either by right or through the developments of regional impact that were approved many years ago. And while the growth isn't surprising, the rate of growth has its challenges. For those who are watching who may be new to the city or not aware of our history, Port St. Lucie was originally planned in 1961 by General Development Corporation as a retirement haven with 80,000 platted single-family lots. It wasn't built with the infrastructure future residents would need for more residential, commercial, and industrial uses. But over the past 6 decades, we have successfully overcome many obstacles to become the city we are today. And that has meant retrofitting much of the city to include infrastructure like sidewalks and additional roadways like the Crosstown Parkway. This year, several road projects began throughout the city. And as with any roadway construction, it's tough to deal with while it's happening. However, this work is necessary to manage our growth that we're seeing now and will see in the future. Although we have been experiencing some inconvenience and some frustration during the construction processes, the improved roadways and additional capacity are designed to address traffic congestion and safety, which will make all of our lives easier in the long run. Floresta Drive is another long-awaited project that we were finally able to get underway due to the voter-approved half-cent sales tax. When we initiated the planning for Floresta, we asked the residents who live in that area if they wanted a 4-lane road. Their answer to us was that they wanted to maintain the feel of their neighborhood, but they wanted improvements to keep the traffic flowing safely. The solution was a complete street project with sidewalks, bike lanes, street trees, and other amenities. In addition, we are reducing the conflict points by constructing roundabouts, which keeps people and vehicles moving. As I mentioned, phase 1 of this project from South Bend to Elkham Bridge is already done, and it looks beautiful. The second phase is underway from Elkham Bridge north to Crosstown with similar complete street plans, replacement of the bridge, and stormwater improvements. Another much-needed roadway project is Port St. Lucie Boulevard South, where 2 segments are currently under construction. The first segment is from Gatlin south to Darwin. The second segment is from Darwin to Alcantara. These projects widen Port St. Lucie Boulevard to 4 lanes, include multi-use path, a median, and landscaping. Within the next few years, these improvements will continue down Becker Road to Becker Road and will provide relief from traffic congestion in the southern portion of our city. These road projects are the most significant, but they are not the only projects currently being constructed or planned. We also have widening of the I-95 overpass in St. Lucie West, construction of Tom Mackey Boulevard phases 2 through 4 in our jobs corridor, East Torino and West Torino intersection improvements, turn lane improvements east of Village Parkway and Tradition, California Boulevard widening from St. Lucie West to Crosstown, and I-95 and Gatlin Boulevard interchange improvements. 2 additional projects worth noting are the extension of Becker Road to Rangeline Road, as well as Crosstown Parkway to Rangeline Road. Both are currently underway. And these infrastructure projects will add 2 new critical east-west connections to Port St. Lucie. These roads will be extended to the most western limits of our city, and it's important to note that the costs for constructing these roads are being borne by the developers, not by our taxpayers. As it relates to other infrastructure goals, we are diligently working on our 10-year repaving plan. Did you know that Port St. Lucie has over 900 miles of roadway? I bet Heath knows that. In 2021 to 2022, we repaved 45 miles of city roads, and we are on track to do 46 miles this year. Work also continues on the implementation of our sidewalk master plan with 4.9 miles completed for 21-22, and we have 3.6 miles of sidewalk planned to be completed for 2022 to 2023. Additionally, there are several traffic calming projects being designed right now, which will be worked on and completed this year. The results of our annual community survey have shown us that residents want more mobility options for travel around the city. I'd like to thank our city's Budget Advisory Committee, who reviewed and analyzed our former road impact fee system and recommended that Port St. Lucie move away from inequitable and rigid impact fees for roads to a more flexible mobility fee system. The work they did was extremely valuable, and they truly helped move our city forward. I also want to thank our city team for all their hard work on this matter, as this was another task that was very complicated to undertaking. As a result of these efforts, we are finally and officially adopted our new mobility plan and fee system, which will help fund investments in infrastructure our residents have asked for, not just in additional road capacity, but also safe spaces to walk and bike as well. In April, after hard-fought negotiations between the city and the county, we entered into an interlocal agreement for mobility and road impact fees, thereby reducing the fees charged in the city. And I want to thank our council for standing firm on our position for more equity that better reflects our needs in our city. Throughout this planning process, we have already identified road projects such as St. Lucie West Boulevard, Kashmere, and Torino Parkway, and more information will be coming forward as we continue the progress on this plan. With our future in mind, we are also using our strategic plan as a playbook for adding more culture, nature, and fun. The council and I received many questions asking for more things to do in the city, specifically relating to parks and recreation. And while our city already has more than 40 beautiful parks, we know that we need more. The good news is that we have embarked on some pretty spectacular park projects that we are all looking forward to as a result of the implementation of our 10-year Parks and Recreation Master Plan. These projects include Phase 2 of Winter Lakes Park, Tradition and Torino Regional Parks, Riverland Paseo Park, and most exciting of all, our Port District. We were extremely happy to unveil the Winter Lakes Park in Torino in 2021 and can't wait for Phase 2, which incorporates additional pavilions, additional trail, volleyball courts, a fishing pier, among other amenities. Now, Torino Regional Park was a promise made to our residents over 20 years ago, and the location was previously designed and permitted in 2007 to include many amenities such as lighted ball fields, nature trails, preserve areas, and picnic areas. Unfortunately, the construction of the park was put on hold soon after approval because of the economic climate at the time. But the need for these recreational amenities in this area never went away. And that's why I'm pleased to report that this council has kept that promise, and we are now in the planning process for that long-awaited park. The new Torino Regional Park Conceptual Master Plan will be developed through the public and stakeholder engagement sessions in the coming months and is expected to be completed by fall of 2023. So be on the lookout for ways to engage with us as we plan this much-needed community resource. Meanwhile, the city has partnered with Mattamy Homes on Tradition Regional Park, a 110-acre city-owned park in the heart of Tradition. This park is envisioned as having baseball, softball, multi-purpose sports fields, along with other more regional-type uses such as a bark park, food truck and art event space, and a BMX pump track to meet existing and future resident needs. We look forward to breaking ground on Tradition Regional Park next year. Nearby, another public-private partnership is paying off for our residents. The city has partnered with GL Homes to develop the 12-acre Riverland Paseo Park for all city residents, which will feature a dog park, softball field, and open play fields for additional outdoor recreation. Lastly, one of my favorites is the Port District. Simply put, it will be PSL's new riverfront destination. It will be the place to be, a place where life meets the river to explore, gather, and connect. It will have elements that will appeal to everyone. We wanted to use this very special property on the banks of the St. Lucie River to create something unique, not like anything you could find elsewhere in PSL or even in the region, and it's happening. Earlier this year, we broke ground and work is currently underway on several of these elements, which are located just south of the Botanical Gardens. The construction includes a one-of-a-kind Pioneer Park playground, event lawn, overwater stage and boardwalk connections, a canoe and kayak launch, trails and preserves, and has a site for an exciting new waterfront restaurant. Also at this site, renovations to the historic Peacock Lodge are underway to help preserve a piece of PSL's past, and we have proudly partnered with our Historical Society to create a special place to learn and share in Port St. Lucie's history. By this time next year, I hope our residents and visitors will be able to begin enjoying it. The City Council envisioned Pioneer Park Playground differently than any other local playground experience. While researching iconic playgrounds, I traveled to Bach Tower Gardens in Central Florida with members of our parks team to explore its highly regarded Hammock Hollow Children's Garden. After experiencing the magic of that play space, we knew that we wanted to incorporate similar aspects for a space where children can exercise their bodies and their imaginations. And while we don't want to play with alligators in real life, Councilwoman Morgan, in Pioneer Park, children will get to climb on the back of a giant green gator at Gator Gulch and imagine a river voyage in our sail-away schooner. They'll be able to climb the Jungle Dome at Pioneer Perch and splash away at the water play area at Banyan Basin. They can make music at Harmony Hideaway and stage a play at Peacock Playhouse. Can you imagine it already? This will be a unique and special place for our kids and our families. And I know the adults are very much looking forward to our dining docks with its new waterfront restaurant. And the city has been working for the last several months to negotiate a lease agreement with a restaurant developer for a riverfront dining experience. And I'm very excited to announce that we've reached an agreement and our city manager will be bringing the item forward to City Council at our December 12th meeting. The restaurant developer will be responsible for constructing and operating a restaurant on a riverfront site that will still be owned by the city by way of a ground lease. In addition to amazing views of the North Fork of the St. Lucie River, the restaurant site will feature a variety of dining options for patrons. Public access to the river will be unobstructed so that we can still experience the North Fork of the river just as we have before, but this time with an awesome dining experience. This will be a destination like no other on the Treasure Coast, and by the time I deliver my next State of the City address, I hope to be talking to you about a grand opening. Parks aren't the only exciting thing progressing in Port St. Lucie. Our economic development has advanced well ahead of schedule, and our strategic plan guides us on this topic too, with a goal to foster a diverse economy while bringing additional job opportunities. Facilitating job growth and employment is another promise made years ago, and we know how important it is to have good-paying jobs above the county's average wage right here in Port St. Lucie. When people travel outside of PSL to go to work, it not only impacts their overall quality of life, but they also take their spending power with them, and that negatively impacts our local businesses. So we want to keep the majority of that revenue right here in our city and county. If you remember, our original master plan indicated it would take about 20 to 30 years to attract businesses to fully develop the 1,200 acres that we received. However, due to strong partnerships with the Sansone Group, Tamboni Companies, and several other partners, it has taken us only 6 years to get us to where we are today, and it's hard to believe that we only have about 250 acres remaining. The list of national and international companies that have made our jobs corridor their home includes FedEx, a 245,000 square foot sorting center with 500 jobs, Amazon, which has constructed a 220,000 square foot facility to employ 200 workers, Oculus Surgical, be 55,000 square foot facility and provide 79 jobs. Excel Florida, which is almost finished constructing its 150,000 square foot facility that will attract 125 new jobs. Cheney Brothers is now constructing a 427,000 square foot facility that will bring 380 jobs. And 2 more major economic development projects are on the horizon and taking shape, and they currently go by the names of Project Green and Project Apron. And they will each be 1.1 million square feet of warehouse distribution space, which will add hundreds more jobs to our community. And I look forward to being able to revealing the name of these companies in the near future. Of course, we cannot forget about Cleveland Clinic Tradition Hospital and its Florida Research and Innovation Center, which also calls Southern Grove home, along with FIU Center for Translational Science, which officially opened in April. FIU's researchers and student scientists are already positively impacting the economy on the state and local levels, with 55 employees hired this spring, $4.5 million in annual salaries added to our community, $8.4 million in projected NIH grant research expenditures for 2022, $33.6 million in annual local economic impact, and $45 to $50 million in projected annual research expenditures by fiscal year 2026. I would like to thank the state of Florida and Governor DeSantis for awarding Southern Grove 2 Florida job growth grants to help pay for the infrastructure needed to support our new economic development partners. In fact, Governor DeSantis traveled to Port St. Lucie last year to personally deliver the latest grant of $3.5 million. And although it gets a lot of attention, Southern Grove isn't Port St. Lucie's only economic development area. Midway Business Park in northern Port St. Lucie has also attracted some significant employers. This is the home to our other Amazon facility, which is 1.1 million square feet and is expected to create more than 500 jobs. Galleria Farms, which imports and distributes premium fresh-cut flowers, is also coming to the Midway Business Park. They are expected to bring 210 local jobs. Another company, Total Trucks, also is expanding in this business park and intends to hire an additional 20 employees to the 15 that they already have now. And our local healthcare industry is critical for both the city's growing population and our economic development. I spoke earlier about Cleveland Clinic's Tradition Hospital, which is purchasing additional acreage to construct another hospital tower. But our other major hospital, HCA Florida St. Lucie, also has expansion plans in the works. And earlier this year, the City Council approved plans for Tenet Healthcare's new surgical hospital with 54 beds. And the site work is already underway behind Veranda Falls on Becker Road. So as you can see, we have many great things happening in Port St. Lucie. And to say we're busy is an understatement. We are a thriving city that never rests on our achievements, and we strive to continuously improve and deliver the highest level of service to our residents. And as I reflected on for the past few years, the list of topics and projects that I shared with you is long. And I know you all don't want to be here for 2 hours, so there's just a few more priorities I want to mention before I wrap up. First is public safety. We are the safest large city in Florida and have been for 13 years. Safety is always top priority in our strategic plan. And we are consistently ranked as one of the safest cities in Florida and America by various agencies. Most notable this year, U.S. News and World Report named Port St. Lucie as the second safest place to live in the entire United States. And this is a result of the hard work by our staff, police department, and the strong relationship that our officers have fostered within our community. To further address safety, we are staffing a new police district in Western Port St. Lucie, and we'll be constructing a police training facility to make sure that our officers are well-trained and have the resources necessary to serve our city. We've also reduced our speed limit this year to 25 miles an hour in our residential neighborhoods. In addition to our police training facility, the design and construction of a new Public Works building is underway to house our employees in the Public Works Department and address our growth. Next on my list is an opportunity to talk about Indian River State College. Our City Council created a new strategic goal this year to be a smart and connected city. And we are very proud to be home to IRSC. This year, the college did a truly amazing thing. They created the Promise Program, which allows qualified high school graduates from public high schools, including public charter high schools on the Treasure Coast, to earn a tuition-free associate degree. This was their most significant investment ever in eliminating barriers to higher education. And their leaders recently shared some stats that I think deserve to be talked about tonight. IRSC's total full-time enrollment is up 8.9%. In 2022, IRSC had its largest ever cohort of first-time college students, with more than 3,200 going to college for the first time. Of those, 2,190 were in the 2022 Promise Program, which equated to 33% of all eligible high school seniors. 56% of these Promise students are first-generation college students. Programs like these not only create a brighter future for individual students, but they make our city, county, and entire region stronger as a whole. Another Port St. Lucie highlight that you will hear a lot about next year is City Center. And this project on our eastern side has a long and complicated history. But in the past year, we hit the significant milestone as the city purchased those 22 parcels. And having this land under our ownership will finally allow us to harness the potential of this property and carry out a new vision for the eastern side. To date, we have made good progress on our master plan, so be on the lookout through 2023 for opportunities to engage and share your vision and ideas. One more highlight is our septic to sewer program. Due to important changes in the way that we address new conversions, our utility systems department has been able to significantly reduce our backlog. I'm happy to share that the time frame from application to installation was reduced from roughly 40 weeks to 20 weeks. And as of September 30th, 2022, the completed installations for last fiscal year included 2,427 installations for new construction and 616 conversions. The Utility Systems Department reached a milestone of having completed a total of 9,835 septic to sewer conversions and 30,192 new installations overall. This benefits our residents and also our St. Lucie River. Now, I can't wrap up without mentioning two final priorities. As you may be aware, the City Council has adopted a property tax rate decrease for the last 7 years in a row. and our Office of Management and Budget just completed their annual analysis of benchmarking for this fiscal year. This analysis compares the 20 most popular cities in the state, plus our neighboring cities of Fort Pierce and Stewart. And I'm happy to share that Port St. Lucie is ranked 4th out of the 22 cities. That means only 3 cities have a lower tax rate, while 18 cities charge a higher rate. I hope you will agree that this is something to be proud of, as it demonstrates that we provide great value for city services. We continue to tackle our city's debt, which has been reduced by 36%. And we just recently paid off the former Torrey Pines building, which now houses FIU. And last but not least, due to our strong debt reduction policies, we are on track to pay off the Mid-Florida Event Center in 2025. Looking ahead to next year, we are embarking on a new project to shape our future. In 2023, the City Council and I will hold a vision and identity workshop in conjunction with our annual winter workshop meeting. And this will help us clearly define who we are as a city and solidify our vision for the future. The Council and I are looking forward to receiving your input and ideas at our next IMPSL Citizen Summit, which is scheduled to be held on February 18th at the Community Center. I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here and for being an engaged member of our community. As you heard tonight, 2022 wasn't an easy year, but we had many, many accomplishments and overcame a monumental challenge at the same time. These accomplishments translate to being responsive to our city's needs and delivering on the promises made to you through our strategic plan. I firmly believe that our city is in a position of great strength. We have strong leadership on our city council, and our city manager, through his excellent leadership, has built a very solid team that we should all be proud of. This won't be the last year that we face challenges, because we know that's not how life works. But as long as we learn from each one and continue to work hard to achieve our shared goals, we will become an even stronger and more resilient city. Thank you for placing your faith and trust in me to serve as your mayor. And thank you for being here tonight. I wish everyone a very happy holiday season and a happy new year. And I look forward to seeing you back in 2023. Good night.